Bine v-am regăsit la România via Cluj. Vă propun astăzi o discuție despre migrație. Ei bine, invitații mei de astăzi sunt italieni, vorbitori de limba engleză, sunt de la Institutul IDOS și vă propun de aici încolo să facem discuția în engleză ca să avem un dialog cu dumnealor. Today we are discussing a topic of great relevance, migration. So it's a phenomenon that continues to reshape our societies in ways that are really profound. We are here in Cluj-Napoca, joined by our distinguished guests, the president of IDOS Research and Study Center, Dr. Luca Di Sciullo, and vice president of the same institute, Dr. Antonio Ricci. Welcome. So your visit is a part of an international tour to present the statistical dossier of immigration. That would be this big book with studies. The most important annual publication on migration in Italy, now at its 34th edition. So I would like to begin by asking our guest, what is actually IDOS, this research center?
IDOS is a research and study center, the center that was founded in 2004 by a small group of researchers that had been studying migration phenomenon and already issued this kind of statistical report for 15 years previously. So the report is more ancient than the research study, and we have continued to study this very important phenomenon, not only for Italy, of course, but for the European context and the largest international context, of course. And so we every year try to have a photography of what is going on about immigration in Italy with this kind of studies. And but we have also an historical overview of how this phenomenon is going changing in the decades. Not only in Italy, but in the European context.
So this comes my next question. How do you describe the current migration trends in Europe and, of course, in Italy?
We are in a very problematic era for migrations because after the first decade of the new century, we have seen the European institutions stopping migrant flows and adopting very restrictive policies. But in Italy, we began to adopt this kind of policies even before. In the last years of the 90s of the last century. And so now it's very difficult to enter the country and to stay in the country regularly, in a very regular way. And so the phenomenon is very problematic, even for this kind of issues.
Speaking about problems, I would like to ask Mr. Ricci, what are the main challenges that Italy faces in the integration process?
It's for Italy, it's something very difficult at the moment, and maybe it's a matter of governance. So our policymakers, our national resources are just targeted to face the emergencies, the arrival of refugees. We are in the middle of the Mediterranean, so they are not only Ukrainians, like in Romania. We face also waves of refugees from the south of the Mediterranean. And they came from the whole Africa. And so the challenge is that we spend all our resources and our attentions to face the arrival, And that's a good strategy, but we are neglecting to integrate the other portion of migrants, and there are nowadays more than 5 million. They want to stay in Italy, they want to settle, and our policies make them very precarious. So they are very weak, and they meet serious problems in the labor market insertion. And for example, it's easy for them to face problems of overqualification. So they have to accept jobs not so skilled. And that's useful because we have a big demand of such a kind of positions. But in the same time, it's a waste of talents for us in the same time. So in Italy needs their talents from abroad also to relaunch our economy, because we are in a stagnation situation since 20 years, I could say. So this is a challenge for us. So we have we have people that want to live in Italy. They fight for their own success, but they met a lot of problems with bureaucracy and a lack of procedures in their regards. And
do they have the language barrier? I mean, the migrants from Africa, or maybe
this is also an issue, but in general it's not so important because they speak anyway Latin languages. In most part of the case, they speak French, so they could learn very easily. The problem is, for example, when children go to school, their children go to school, not all the Italian schools are ready to implement an intercultural methodology. So in the most part of the case, pupils, they learn Italian enough to speak each other's, to live, to even to work, but not enough well to continue the study at university level. So our schools do a good job for integration because they work also with the families. No, the children are intercultural mediators with the family, but then the last step is to bring them to university, and in that case we fail because most part of them, if they start university, they fail because their level of Italian is good, but not enough to study.
Not enough. From the 5 million migrants that are currently in Italy, 1 million is Romanian. Yeah. So my next question is about the Romanian diaspora, and how would you characterize the Romanian diaspora integration and participation, of course, in the society? We are not talking about a migration that happened yesterday. It's been over 10 or maybe 20 years ago.
So Romanian abroad and Romanians in Italy are a real case study for scholars. And 35 years in Italy, but abroad, Romanians are still 4.5 million, according to the last data from United Nations. They were published a few days ago. That's something new. But 1 million are in Italy at least. And it's a history of success because if you think 1 million, there are so many. So they should be really well integrated. They could be the result of chains and so on. It's a good history, but it's a best practice, but not totally, because let's think about the past. For example, in 2007, we had a wave of Romanophobia, I could say, after some incidents like the killing of Mrs. Reggiani. And so Romanians had to face many troubles during their stay because they became we say in Italian capro espiatorio. They were paying for the guilties of one, they were all criminalized. That was not right to do. Nowadays, Romanians were able, and they showed a resilient attitude, and they are integrating from the below. So Italian families and Romanian families live together, each other. They face the same problems with the public administration, with bureaucracy, and so on. So same life is.
But no language barrier.
No
for
language,
Romanians.
but the matter is that Romanians, for example, on an economical basis, we have to say thank to Romanians because they are maybe 700,000 people working in Italy. They produce the 2% of national GDP. So it's something important.
It links to my next question because some information has been published today that now the entrepreneurs, the Romanian entrepreneurs, are more than the Chinese ones in Italy. Is this information true?
Yeah, that's true, and it's the photograph of the strong will and the strong resilience of Romanians. They will to reach a success, at least an economic success. They face problems with the recognition of titles, so maybe the skilling in the job, and for a part of them, the pathway is to start their own activity. So they have ideas and they try to implement their own ideas.
And I would like to ask Mr. Sciullo, if this migrant entrepreneurship in Italy, is it only the Romanians or maybe other nationalities do the same?
No, it's a very extraordinary phenomenon concerning all the foreign people in Italy. We have faced from the beginning of this century almost three international crises. You surely remember in 2008, coming from the United States, you will remember surely, and then the pandemic crisis in 2000, and then after a few years, the third crisis of the Ukrainian war. But even if these were very critical periods, the immigrant entrepreneurship never stopped increasing in Italy, and in contrast with the trends of the local national entrepreneurships, because we have Italian entrepreneurships that are sometimes decreasing or very stable. But the very extraordinary phenomenon is that they never stopped.
And they adapt.
The
secret is that they actually adapt to the
and
local.
now we have the 10% of entrepreneurs in Ity are foreigners, and we have 60,070
60,000?
Yeah, 60,000 of, no, più, come si dice, 670.000.
Almost 700,000.
770,000 entrepreneurs here in Italy. So it's a very large number.
I would like you...
I'm sorry, but...
No problem. I would like you to tell us at the end of our discussion what other populations are in Italy besides Romanians, with the 1 million Romanians. What do you have there?
Oh, we have many national groups. After Romanians, we have Albanians. We have 400,000 of Albanians, and about the same number of migrants coming from Morocco. And then we have at the fifth rank we have Ukrainians because of the war. So we have about 250,000 of Romanians, and we have more than 3 300,000 of Chinese.
Yeah.
So we have a very polycentric situation of countries of origins about migrants, except Romanians, because they are so much, increasingly so much, and much more than all the other national groups.
Thank you very much for this interesting information that you have provided us today. We talked today with Dr. Luca Di Sciullo, President of IDOS Research and Study Center, and Vice President of IDOS, Antonio Ricci. Thank you so much.
Nice to meet you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Mulțumesc și vouă că v-ați uitat la noi. Ne vedem pe net.
Fiecare dintre noi are dreptul la un mediu curat, dar și obligația de a-l proteja. Instituțiile publice trebuie să asigure aplicarea legilor de mediu, iar cetățenii să fie responsabili în gestionarea resurselor. Dacă nu respectăm aceste principii, viitorul nostru va fi marcat de poluare și dezechilibru ecologic. Împreună putem face diferența. Alege verde inspiră viitorul.
Campanie de conștientizare din cadrul proiectului Alege Verde, finanțat prin Administrația Fondului pentru Mediu și implementat de Asociația Galna Poca-Porolisum, în parteneriat cu Primăria Mărișel, județul Cluj și Asociația Tineri și Performanță Buzău. Alege Verde inspiră viitorul.